You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming. So you may on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Adastra. So y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right back into it, shall we? Please sit back and enjoy for the next 18 minutes while entertaining you. Let's jump right in. Alarm saying you are up, and let's go. Have you tried it before? I've had brushes with such substances in my youth. Good for experiencing the fragility of reality and how we perceive it, but little else. I see. Still, it sounds like you caught Cassius in a moment of vulnerability. He could trust you more because of it, if you treated the situation delicately. Maybe. I think back to when I saw him crying in front of the statue, but I don't want to tell Neferu about that, not really feeling it would be all that useful or appropriate to share. This reminds me of what else the parents had said to me. Well, they also told me something else, to watch Alex. Did they now? Yeah, and I did. He's been acting weird ever since I got here, so I spied on him today and he sailed off to the island in the middle of the lake just now. Neferu's got a strange, knowing smile on his face. What? I just find it interesting that you have similar suspicions of Alex that I did. What do you mean? I've been studying the cat myself and noticed a few odd things as well, including his trips to the island. I frown. What, and you didn't tell me? Well, this rather desperate situation we're in only came about very recently, and I had little use for this information until now. Well, what do you think he's doing? Neferu shrugs. I don't know, as I've not yet followed him to the island. You can imagine that I'm planning to now that we could use Alex on our side as well. Turn everyone against Cato? Yes. So, if he's doing something bad, then we would use it as blackmail? Essentially, he's the closest person to Cassius and could possibly grant us access to classified information. I sigh, growing weary of all this backstabbing. If it's the only way to help Amicus, I guess. Oh, there are many ways, and I have a last resort plan in place. Oh wait, but Neferu doesn't go on. Which is? Well, considering Amicus's birthright, he still has the ability to challenge whoever is on the throne, but... Really? All this time Amicus could have just challenged Cassius again? Then I realized that Neferu was about to go on. But what? A fight to the death. Since the wolves love their violence, though the Emperor would have to accept the challenge. The thought of that instantly makes me feel sick. No way! Again, last resort. I doubt Amicus would challenge his own brother, and I doubt Cassius would accept, at least at the moment. I can't even begin to contemplate a situation like that, and Neferu quickly changes the subject. Anyway, I should be off. I'd like to catch Alex in the act, and based on previous observations I've made, I have another hour to do so. I blink in surprise. Right now? Should we wait until, tomorrow night? He only goes once a week. Considering how urgent our situation is, I should get this done now. Can I go too? Kyllian, remember what I said about needing to keep you safe? Yeah, and it's Alex. What's he gonna do? We should be prepared for anything. Well, I think it's better if we both go, in case something does happen and you need help. Neferu lets out a soft sigh. All right. I'm surprised by how quickly he gives in. I suppose you deserve to be treated as an equal in these plans we're making. Though, if Amicus finds out I'm bringing you on these missions, he'll have my hide. I'll let him know I wanted to be part of it. As if that will convince him. Anyways, let's be off. Okay? My excitement picks up as I get to my feet and follow Neferu to the door. If we run into anyone, especially Cato, we simply tell them we're out for an evening stroll, understood? Yep. Despite the potentially dangerous situation we're going into, my mood is lifted knowing that things are finally moving again. Luckily, there's another sightseer craft in the gazebo, though it looks much older and the floor on this one isn't transparent, which I'm fine with. I'd rather not gaze into the inky blackness of the water beneath my feet while sailing to the island. Neferu is quiet most of the time, looking confident in everything he does as he prepares the craft. Finally, he reaches out his paw to chivalrously pull me on board. The lake claps quietly around us as we approach the island. A black mass amongst the ripples of reflected moonlight in the waves. I immediately spot Alex's craft sitting on the beach near where we'd had our little picnic all those weeks ago. We travel a little further up the shore, out of sight of the craft before we drift onto the beach. Neferu holds out a paw again to help me down, even though I don't need it. As I settle on the sand, though, he leans in close and whispers in my ear, "It's free real estate." Nope, he didn't do that. Wait here. Unfortunately, I believe simian footfalls are louder than that of a jackal. Okay, but call me if something happens or you need help. I see a smile on Neferu's face, and though it's amused, it's not in a condescending way at all. Of course, my friend. And with that, the jackal disappears into the night, leaving me with only the little craft and the gentle sounds of the waves to keep me company. I don't have to wait long before I hear voices coming from further up the beach, and I know right away that it's Neferu and Alex. I wait for a few moments to see if Neferu will call my name. When he doesn't, I frown and look around before quietly making my way towards the voices. It's not like I expect that he needs my help, but I don't want to miss anything important, and I feel like the moment of confrontation with Alex should involve me. As I get closer, I'm able to make out the words and see that the two of them are right on the edge of the woods, standing just a few feet apart. I crouch and hide along the tree line as I listen more closely to what they're saying. Beautiful night. I've always wanted to come to this island to gaze at the moon and the planet, away from the lights of the palace. Oh, I see. It is incredibly beautiful here, isn't it? While he's speaking in his typical pleasant tone, I can definitely tell that Alex seems a bit nervous, his voice tight and a bit out of breath. So, yes? Alex looks around nervously. I heard you speaking just before I happened upon you. Is there someone else with you? Me? Oh, no, definitely not. You know, it's rather embarrassing, but sometimes I just talk to myself. Don't be embarrassed. It's something I do as well. Oh, I see. Alex seems to be relaxing a bit under Neferu's treatment, but tenses up again at the next sentence. Though I usually don't whisper to trees. Now, that is a bit odd. I see Alex's ears flatten. I'm a bit confused at the statement. Whispering to trees? Alex doesn't seem to have an answer ready and stutters in the most guilty way imaginable. Weirdly enough, though, he sidles up closer to Neferu. Neferu, you're the one that's acting a bit odd right now, you know. The small cat's demeanor suddenly changes to a more sultry approach, relaxing his shoulders and drifting a paw down his body. It doesn't seem natural at all, though. Unlike Neferu's smile as he stares down at the approaching cat. He's still smiling when Alex reaches up to cup his cheeks and kiss him right on the lips. I blink, surprised at the sudden turn the scenario has taken. Neferu looks anything but surprised, though, grinning throughout the kiss as Alex tries to kiss deeper. Finally, the cat seems to notice the lack of response from the jackal, and he draws back, frowning. Neferu shakes his head. Oh, Alex, you know that's my technique. It will not work on me. Now, why don't we have a look at that tree? Alex freezes up, looking around, and that's when I think he spots me. Who's that? Neferu turns his head just slightly in my direction, and that's when Alex makes his move. He sends a kick sailing between the jackal's legs, and just as I'm readying myself to intervene, Neferu's paws are solidly stopping the attack. There's a pause, Neferu holding Alex's leg, forcing him to balance on one foot as the jackal's smile turns smug. What a pity that you're not the first to try such a move on me. I've learned people on this moon fight dirty. Alex squeaks, but balls up a fist anyway, sending a straight punch squared into Neferu's stomach. It connects with a hollow thud, bouncing off the jackal's abs like they're made of bricks, Neferu only grunting slightly in response. Oof! Now that's a bit more like it. Suddenly, Neferu uses a leg to sweep Alex's only foot off the ground, sending the cat onto his back in the sand. Neferu follows him down, pinning the cat there, almost engulfing Alex with his much larger body. Ah! Get off me! Help! Alex spots me as I come out into the open, sitting next to the two of them. Kyllian, help me! The jackal's gone mad! I fold my arms and stand over him, and Alex quickly realizes that I'm definitely not here to help him. What are you two doing? I told you I know nothing, Kyllian. Why must you keep attacking me like this? Alex continues to struggle meekly into the jackal, not even looking like he's trying to escape. Attack you? Then why is it my stomach? Why is it my stomach that is sore? Alex doesn't seem to be listening, and tears start brimming in his eyes as he begins to sob. I'm fully convinced that the sobs in the bathing room were all an act. Kyllian. I turn my attention back to Neferu, who's still smiling as always. About 10 paces directly in front of me is a large tree, larger than the others that surround it. Do you see it? I look ahead and immediately see what Neferu is talking about. The tree noticeably larger than the others, its branches stretching dozens of feet into the air, the leaves looking like silver in the moonlight. Yes. Go up to it, circle it, and see if you can find a hollow. I do as I'm told, feeling a little apprehensive as I step just inside the dark woods. Wait, Neferu, Kyllian, I don't understand. Why are you doing this? I realize at that moment how much I'm trusting Neferu here. I have no idea what's happening at all. The trunk of the tree is thick, enough that I wouldn't be able to touch hands if I were to hug it. I start looking for the hollow Neferu described, and as I walk around the tree, I immediately spot one on the other side of it. I look into the black hole, feeling a bit nervous at what I might find in there. I stop as tiny red light in the hollow flares to life with my voice before fading again. What the? It happens again, pulsing to the sound of my voice. You found it? Yeah, there's a little red light in there that's lighting up with my voice. I watch the hypnotic ebb and flow of the light as I speak. Thank you, Kyllian. You may come back now. Gratefully, I return to the side of my Kimian friend, noticing that Alex's demeanor is completely changed now. He's sullen, though almost expressionless as he lays under the jackal, not even pretending to be trying to escape at this point. Well, that settles it, doesn't it, Alex? Alex remains silent, staring up at the sky. What is it? Neferu looks up at me. Classic amorphin parent tech. They often combine plant life and machinery to create their gadgets. Rather ingenious, and they've recently been sharing their knowledge with us on Kimia. What a mistake that was. Wait, but what is it? A communication device. It uses the branches as a massive antenna, capable of transmitting information great distances, though it's likely transmitting to Adastra City. There's a likely second spy there, who then beams the information through a much more powerful machine, straight to a Morpha. Neferu grins in Alex's face. Isn't that right, Alex? Once again, Alex remains silent, seeming to have shut down. So, do you want to be the one to tell Cassius, Kyllian? That finally gets a reaction out of Alex, and he stiffens up, fur bristling out as he snarls at Neferu. And for what reason, Jackal? We're all spies here, including you, especially you. Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about, Alex. Neferu's tone says otherwise. Alex continues to glare up at the Jackal, his fur starting to lay flat again. Oh, you think I'm that stupid? You think I'd just let you fuck me without any regard to your intentions? Without studying you? I know why you're here, Jackal. Oh, do enlighten me, Cat. You're floundering here, looking to make a name for yourself. The Pharaoh practically tossed you off the planet to attempt to cultivate a hopeless alliance on Adastra. Neferu's eyes narrow. How unfulfilling it must be to be the second-born, unable to escape the shadow of your brother, able to make a father proud, stuck on this moon getting your balls kicked in by the bigot wolves. Alex sounds and looks almost unrecognizable. Even your sisters, the third and fourth born, have secured positions of greater prestige than you. I see Neferu grip into Alex tighter, but the cat goes on. In an era when the royal family has already given up so much power, you're desperate behind that facade of confidence, terrified of withering away into historical insignificance. You'd be less than a footnote in the Kimian history books. Neferu isn't smiling anymore, and I can tell that he's been caught off guard just as much as me by the cat's complete change in character. Still, he keeps his hold on the cat, remarking coolly, I would choose my words more carefully if I were you, considering your position right now. As I was saying, we'll be reporting this to the Emperor as soon as we return to the palace. Alex seems to deflate again, apparently satisfied with the hits he'd gotten in on the Jackal. What do you want? Don't play stupid. What do you want from me? You've known I was a spy since you first got here, and you're only doing this now because you want something. Oh, how considerate of you. Well... Neferu looks up at me. What do you think we want, Kyllian? Full access to the archives, Alex snorts. I don't have that. Then get it. We know how close you are to Cassius. Make something up as to why you need it, then grant us access. For what reason? To help Amicus. Cassius will not be harmed by this. You have until next week, otherwise the Emperor will know of your treason. Alex remains quiet, and Neferu seems satisfied with that, pushing off the cat and getting to his feet. Let us be off. The Jackal speaks briskly to me before turning on his heel and making his way back to the craft. Man, oh man. I look down at Alex, watching as the cat simply stares at the moons, not even acknowledging me. The way back is a bit awkward, Neferu quiet, clearly upset. I haven't really ever seen him like this before, and I have to remind myself that I probably rarely see the real Neferu. He's putting on an act just like Alex, just like they both have to. And though I'm curious about his family situation, I have enough sense to not pry. Instead, I ask what I'm most worried about. What's to stop Alex from betraying us? You could just as easily tell Cassius about our plot. The Jackal is staring off into the water, his elbows on the railing of the sightseer as he hunches over. He won't. He can't bear the thought of Cassius knowing of his betrayal. The usual confidence and natural smugness that's usually in the Jackal's voice is completely missing, his tone flat. You sure? Yes. His love for Cassius is almost equal to that of his loyalty to Amorpha, which is why I assured him that Cassius wouldn't be harmed by our plans. We have little to worry about. The Jackal's mood puts me off from asking any more questions, and we sail the rest of the way to the palace in silence. 3 days later, Alex is able to gain full access to the archives. He doesn't explain as to us how he did it, instead simply notifying Neferu of the specific time he'd open the archives for us and to be ready. I don't have to argue to come along this time. Instead, Virginia tells me that I'll need to go for her to erase my profile from the palace's database. Doing this will allow me to leave the palace without being killed by Khan, just another last resort in case things go bad. Neferu stays behind this time, deciding it to be best considering he's not exactly needed for what we're about to do. Alex walks stiffly ahead of us, not speaking or really acknowledging us in any way. I find it unnerving after knowing the cat for so long, though Virginia doesn't seem bothered at all. We walk to a portion of the palace that I haven't been to very often, mostly because I was never shown the area. Alex comes to a door that he presses his hand to, and unlike other black panels, this one flashes a green color before the door opens. We walk inside the room, and I get my first look at the archive. I guess I'd expected rows of bookshelves full of some type of digital storage or whatever the wolves might use. Instead, I'm greeted by the sight of a giant blue glowing sphere with a honeycomb pattern covering its surface. What's most striking about it, though, is the swirling characters that appear and disappear just over the surface. They're symbols I don't recognize, not any that I've seen on Adastra before. Sitting in front of the floating spheres are two stone dragons, mouths open and silent snarls. Alex seems to be in a hurry as he walks up to the globe. Without hesitation, he sticks his paw into the swirling blue, and the characters and swirls seem to congregate around it before the whole thing pulses. It seems to satisfy the cat as he turns away. That should give you full access. You're on your own from here. With that, the cat leaves. I watch him disappear out the door, for the first time feeling a bit sad at how our relationship has changed. Virginia remains unbothered, though, walking up to the blue sphere as I follow. I stand there awkwardly for a moment before clearing my throat. So, what is this thing? The archive. Yeah, but it looks... It's parental, yes and no. I don't know how it works. It was also used as the method of communication with the parents before they ceased contact, hence the meditation pillow. Virginia gestures at the pillow before she leans forward slightly, a streak of blue light wrapping around her head briefly before she leans back. It connects to the host's brain, similar to the link when it operates on mind control. Wow. Yes, I haven't used it often, but it's fairly easy to control. You'll find out soon enough. Oh. I feel a bit nervous, but Virginia focuses back on the blue globe. Something a small screen appears over the sphere, and I see what looks like an amphitheater. What day was the final trial? I'm about to answer when suddenly Virginia just waves me into silence, focusing on the screen again. I see the scene change to a bloody sunset, and I feel the same anxiety I felt that day as I see Cato and Amicus appear on the screen, followed by me and Cassius. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or a tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!